I've talked a lot about how 2019 is looking to be an absolutely insane year for the PlayStation 4 in terms of quality game releases, but with so many high-profile games being released, it's only a formality that some of these games are gonna fall under the radar and aren't gonna do too well, and people are just not gonna take notice of them. So in this new series, I'm gonna start highlighting PS4 hidden gems that are out very soon. All of these games that I'm gonna mention in this video, and we're gonna go over 5, are out within the next month or so. I'll try to do this series consistently, maybe once a month, and you guys seem to have been enjoying me mentioning a lot of these underprofiled games. Now, I'm not saying to spend your hard-earned money on day one and buy all of these games. However, what I am saying is maybe add these games to your wish list, keep an eye on them, see how the reviews pan out, and either buy them if the reviews do turn out very well, or when they go on sale, buy them then. Whatever the case may be, just keep them on your radar. Without further ado, let's get right into this. Kicking things off is a game that just had its release date confirmed. It was a game that I personally was very much looking forward to, and that is the Hong Kong Massacre. The Hong Kong Massacre was announced a while back, and while we got a very flashy trailer about the game, we've seen some gameplay of it. Information rolling out was kind of few and far between, but now we have some concrete information, and the game is releasing in just a few days as of recording this video. It'll be out on January 26th. Hong Kong Massacre has you blast your way through the streets of Hong Kong in a fast-paced top-down shooter. It gives you vibes of a game like Hotline Miami with also having a little bit of Max Payne in there, and me describing it like that probably gets you pretty excited about the game. The game touts that it's inspired by classic action movies. The Hong Kong Massacre places you at the center of a hard-boiled revenge story filled with brutal cinematic shootouts and vivid underworld location. You take on the role of a former police detective bent on exacting vengeance for his partner's murder, and with use of a mixture of raw firepower, slow motion, and dive dodge mechanics to tear your way through the criminal ranks. And of course, the comparisons to Max Payne is coming to the fact that you can slow down time and plan for your next move. Avoiding bullets while taking out enemies is crucial for survival, but beware, your slow motion ability is limited. You'll have to plan fast, think ahead, and bring down the bad guys unscathed. Love the presentation style this game is going for, and I think it's one that is going to turn out pretty well. Again, the Hong Kong Massacre hits the PS4 on January 22nd. Moving on to number 2, this is a game that I've been mentioning on and off for a little bit. It got hit with a couple of delays, but now it's finally going to be out on January 29th. It's Genesis Alpha 1. Genesis Alpha 1, as I mentioned, was hit with a couple of delays, but now it's nearing release, and the game itself is set in a near future ravaged by wars, corrupt regimes, and devastating pollution. Influential corporations have responded by creating the Genesis program in a last-ditch attempt to save humanity. You play as the captain of the Genesis starship. You journey into uncharted space on the ultimate mission: build and manage a space vessel, farm resources, deal with terrifying alien infestations, clone creatures, and explore a vast randomly generated universe. Every time you play Genesis Alpha 1, it's gonna be a little bit different because it begins with a huge randomized galaxy filled with adventure and peril. You'll discover new planets, encounter asteroid fields, survive hostile encounters as you explore the vast world that the game has to offer. Best of all, Genesis Alpha 1 will be coming at a budget price point of $29.99. Even when looking at the game, it does look like a big budget release, so that's a great fact about it. Again, Genesis Alpha 1 will finally be hitting the PlayStation 4 on January 29th.
Look out for a suitable planet, a Genesis candidate, and when you are ready, initiate a Genesis.
Moving on from that, number 3, we have The Occupation. The Occupation will be dropping on February 5th, and the game is set in 1987 Northwest England. It's a time of 80s British pop, grand architecture, and political unrest. An explosion has triggered a controversial act which threatens to erode civil liberties of the population to be rushed into place. You're tasked with investigating and questioning people on their actions from a tumultuous night which resulted in the loss of many lives. Each person has a different account of that night's event, and you must use the tools at your disposal to get the results you need for your investigation. However, it's not all fun and games. You actually have a time window to complete the game in, and that's a big element of the game, and how you're punished in the game is actually losing time in that window. I'm not a big fan of that gameplay element, having that time constricted window, but it looks like The Occupation is built with that element in mind, and events in the game happen in real time, forcing you to choose between the careful and methodical versus the direct and disruptive approach, so you'll have a couple of different ways in actually how you tackle the game. The game is also touting some rich world building, and just expect a strong narrative in this one. Again, The Occupation is hitting the PS4 on February 5th.
people on our doorstep want to hurt us. There's rioting in the streets, for God's sake.
Just know I'm going to do anything in my power to stop you.
You can't see this right now.
Moving on from that, we have a pretty interesting multiplayer game coming in February in Hyper Jam. Hyper Jam is dropping on February 12th, and it's described as a neon-soaked arena brawler with a dynamic perk drafting system that makes each match different from the last. It's said to be a hard-hitting fusion of lethal weapons, stackable perks, furious combat, and killer synthwave soundtracks. And I have to say right away, when you look at Hyper Jam, it's hard not to be a little captivated by the game because the presentation is so strong, the music is great when you listen to that, and then the gameplay itself sounds great. It looks to be a really interesting local and online multiplayer experience. The only thing that scares me a little bit is going online with a game like this. It is a more niche PlayStation 4 game release, and I don't know how active that online community is or how much longevity the game will have, but it is going to feature local multiplayer as well, so if it does turn out to be a great experience, you can always invite a couple of friends over and enjoy it that way. And again, that strong 80s aesthetic that the game has going on for it is great and a lot different than what a lot of other games are putting out. Hyper Jam is hitting the PS4 on February 12th.
Let's finish this.
And lastly, I want to give a mention to Degrees of Separation, which is hitting the PS4 on February 14th. When I had the pleasure of looking at Degrees of Separation, what it reminded me of right away was That Game Company title, the guys that brought us Flower and Journey, and that is high praise based on what I saw of Degrees of Separation. The game itself is a 2D puzzle adventure game that requires players to harness the elements of heat and cold to succeed. There's two contrasting souls, Ember and Rhyme. They're separated by an enigmatic force and must use their respective powers to progress through a spectacular world of fantasy and adventure. You take on the role of both of them in both single-player and cooperative multiplayer to solve the game's environmental obstacles, drawing on their unique skills to traverse through beautiful puzzle-filled environments. The two characters will learn to lean on one another, their individual forces working to bring them closer together or tear them apart. It's got that very sublime style of storytelling that reminds me a lot of Journey, and that's really the vibe I'm getting from this game. And Journey is a masterclass in video game development and one of those games that a lot of people look at as showing video games as an art form. I don't know if Degrees of Separation is going to hit that level. Those are some high expectations I've set for the game, but that also means I'm seeing a lot of potential out of the game, and the visuals are fantastic. It's got great presentation, and I could see Degrees of Separation being a very special game. Again, it's going to hit the PlayStation 4 on February 14th. This is one to keep your eyes on.
Areas they wouldn't have been able to before. The music you're listening to is the original score for Degrees of Separation, performed by Christian Brostein, an acclaimed composer based in Norway. These hauntingly beautiful compositions complement the romantic atmosphere.
So that's gonna conclude this video. I hope you guys enjoyed me covering some games that might be going a little bit under your radar. Maybe you know about a couple of these games, but I bet for a lot of you guys, at least one of these games has caught your attention and you didn't know about it. Again, with a game like the Hong Kong Massacre, that gives me a lot of vibes of a game like Hotline Miami and Max Payne, and that says a lot of good things. Genesis Alpha 1 is a game that I've been talking about on and off for a little bit, got hit with a couple of delays, but now it's finally looking to be released on January 29th, and it has a lot of potential. And for looking like a higher big budget game coming at the price of $29.99, that's definitely palatable for us gamers on a budget. The Occupation's got a great setting and expect that to be a super narrative driven experience. That looks really good. Hyper Jam could be a quality multiplayer title. The only uncertainty I have with that game is the longevity of the online multiplayer, but let's hope everything pans out well. Maybe it'll be a plus title down the line and that'll jolt up the online player base. That would be great to see. And again, Degrees of Separation is a game that I'm very high on. I have high expectations for it. Who knows if they're gonna hit my level of expectations, but I'm hoping for the best when that game drops on February 14th. Let me know if any of these games caught your attentions and which one specifically. At the very least, again, add them to your wish list, and down the line, if they do go on sale, pick them up then. I could understand why you're hesitant on picking up all of these games at full price. There are so many games coming out that you absolutely can't buy all of these games, nor can you play all of these games at once, but do keep them on your radar. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.